Dear Sir, I have received your letter of August 26th. I sincerely regret that you have been made to feel uneasy in your administration. I will do anything to smooth the path of your administration and heal the differences, though I consider myself the deeply injured party. I know that I have been an object of total opposition from Mr. Jefferson. I know from the most authentic sources that I have been the frequent subject of most unkind whispers by him. I have watched a party form in the legislature with the single purpose of opposing me. I believe, from all the evidence I possess, that the National Gazette was instituted by Jefferson for political purposes, with its main purpose to oppose me and my department. Nevertheless, I can truly say that, besides explanations to confidential friends, I never directly or indirectly responded to these attacks until very recently. But when I saw that they were determined to oppose the banking system, which would ruin the credit and honor of the nation, I considered it my duty to resist their outrageous behavior. Nevertheless, I pledge my honor to you, sir, that if you shall form a plan to reunite the members of your administration, I will faithfully cooperate, and I will not directly or indirectly say or do a thing to cause a fight. I have the honor to remain, sir, your most obedient and humble servant, Alexander Hamilton.
Dear Sir, I have received your letter of August 23rd. You note that there have been internal tensions in your administration. These tensions are of great concern to me. I wish that you should know the whole truth. I have never tried to convince members of the legislature to defeat the plans of the Secretary of Treasury. I value too highly their freedom of judgment. I admit that I have, in private conversations, disapproved of the system's Secretary of Treasury. However, this is because his system stands against liberty, and it is designed to undermine and demolish the Republic. I would like for these tensions to fade away, and my respect for you is enough motivation to wait to express my thoughts until I am again a private citizen. At that point, however, I reserve the right to write about the issues that concern the Republic. I will not let my retirement be ruined by the lies of a man who history, if history stoops to notice him, will remember a person who worked to destroy liberty. Still, I repeat that I hope I will not have to write such a thing. I trust that you know that I am not an enemy to the Republic, nor a waster of the country's money, nor a traitor as Hamilton has written about me. In the meantime, I am with great and sincere affection and respect, dear sir, your most obedient and most humble servant, Thomas Jefferson.
Mr. Jefferson, we must have a strong central government, or our country will never be properly working effectively to where we can be a global power.
A strong central government is not what this country needs. This country needs the people and the states to be in power.
And you have people in a country, and they will be empowered. They will have citizens' rights. They will also have a say in what our government looks like. But we must have a strong central government because we can't rely on the states having more power, because clearly that worked really well.
And we have seen what it looks like when the government has all of the power and the people have none.
This is not a monarchy.
I understand it is not a monarchy. However, we are dancing dangerously close to having a country ruled by a select few individuals. Why are the people not in charge of this democracy?
If you're so concerned about the country being run by a few individuals, then why would you have taken the position of Secretary of State?
I want to make sure that these decisions are what the people want. The people's decision should be what is heard. I cannot trust you, sir.
And the people decided that the Articles of Confederation was going to fail and we needed a new government. Therefore, we created one, a strong central one, and we need to make sure that we follow through with that because we cannot rely on the common person. They are not equipped to make those important decisions that we must make as a country.
I cannot agree with you more. The common person cannot be relied on when they listen to you. However, every other decision they make is a good one.
People are not inherently good. Everybody is out for themselves. It's no longer a world in which one person is going to make a decision because it's the right thing to do. They're going to make decisions about what they want and only how it benefits them. We cannot rely on that kind of thought. Mr. Jefferson, we must have a strong central government.
The people decided that the Constitution was good, and I agree. However, we must stick with a strict construction of the Constitution. Let us follow exactly what the Constitution says.
That is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that we can accomplish what we need to if we have to follow word by word, line by line in the Constitution. We must have a loose construction view of the Constitution, where we do follow it, yet there are times where we need to bend the language so that we can accomplish what we need to.
There you go, big government bending the language again, taking advantage of the people. This is why the strict construction must be in place to make sure that the individual rights are not abused.
We are not taking away the meaning in the Constitution. We are simply making it work for the situation at hand. Your idea of the strict construction view is ridiculous, and it's not going to work. There's no way that we can have better foreign relations, that we can have a better system of government and follow it word by word.
And who decides which rules you will follow and which ones you will bend? I ask you that, sir.
The people. They choose us. We represent them. We do what they want. But your view of this Constitution is not going to work.
I am a people, and I say it is a strict construction view.
You are a people?
If the government is deciding what rules they have to follow and don't have to follow about how the government works, I don't see how that's going to work at all.
Mr. Jefferson, we have argued repeatedly over the ideas that we have about the national debt. But I am here to tell you today that we must combine our debt into one national debt so that we can pay it off quickly and stay united. If we don't pay off our debt, then we could just keep spending and get in a bigger hole than we already are. And someday, we might even be in a $20 trillion debt.
You want to combine our debt all together? Every single one of them. Do you know the South has already paid off the debt, sir, and the North has not? That seems mighty convenient for you.
Last time I checked, we were the United States of America, not northern states and southern states. So as far as I'm concerned, if we're going to act like a government, we need to be treated like a government and pay debt like a government, all together in one lump sum.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. From this point forward, we should act like that. Would you like to start paying my bills, sir? We all one people, in fact, so why don't you start paying my bills? There is no reason the Southern people should have to pay off the Revolutionary War bills that the individual states took out at that time.
First of all, let's clarify that the national debt does not include your personal financial status, so that's not even an issue that we'd pay your bills. We are going to combine the debt. We are the United States of America, and everything in that Constitution, Article 6, I believe, is issuing that we are going to combine that debt, and it's ratified. We even have citizens who invested in our government back in the war. They bought bonds, and now they're out of money because the dollar took a nosedive. We have to pay them back. We owe them that.
Well, I understand, and I know the Constitution. I may have been there myself. I still do not agree with the idea of paying off debt.
Well, last time I checked, you're the one that wanted to follow the Constitution word for word. It clearly states we should combine the debt.
How convenient for a northerner to want to have the southerners bail them out again. Just like I disagree with this, I disagree with your idea of paying bonds back at full prices that you northerners came down and bought off the southerners.
Mr. Jefferson, I'm pretty positive that George Washington hired me to be Secretary of the Treasury. There's a reason why a small southern farmer like you would not be dealing with money.
And what, pray tell, is that reason? That I might know what to do with it? I think you have got me confused with someone who is not an educated man. I know exactly what to do, and I know that your bond theory of paying them back at a full price is cheating the original bondholders who helped out the government in a time of need, and rewarding the scum who came and bought it off people who needed money at the time.
It is not the government's fault that some people decided to sell their bonds at a half price or a reduced price. That is their own choice. They took that risk, and it's not our fault, nor is it our problem to handle it and resolve it for them. That's why people need to manage their own money. It is not our job to coddle them and to be their beck and call when they make bad decisions.
No, but it is awful convenient how this also helps you northern banker types, just like paying off your debt does. Sure seems like us Southerners doing all the work around here.
It seems like you're doing an awful lot of whining. While we're on the talk of work, I believe that we should stay with business and manufacturing. We should favor those types of economies because that's what's going to make us prosperous. We can't rely just on farming all the time.
Right, because, farming hasn't paid off all the debt already. Farming isn't going to pay off the northerners' debt who is making manufactured goods up north. Farming isn't the leading number one industry of this country. Let's just abandon what is making our money right now and put it with some newfangled tools in some big old box of a house. That's sure to work.
Well, I'm pretty positive as well that your farming wouldn't be making as much profit if our business and manufacturing didn't help get your products and goods to other countries. It is a joint effort. It is one where we need to work together in our country if we are going to stay a country. You are so adamant about wanting to split and separate the North from the South, we might as well have a civil war right now.
All I keep hearing is that my goods are paying for what your needs are. My farmers are making money. They are supplying your northern factories with business, and yet you want to turn your back on them. And then you want to raise tariffs. You want to make it so farmers can't afford to buy those goods.
We're not saying to get rid of farming, nor are we saying to break the bank in the South. What we're saying is that business and manufacturing is the future. Farming might be making a lot of money right now, but it is not sustainable, nor is it going to keep this country afloat if we continue to only stay in that agricultural world. We have to progress.
While we are moving on, I can maybe see you expanding a little bit of your manufacturing, but I don't see why you will absolutely undercut farming and say manufacturing is the business of the future. Your tariffs you intend to place are going to kill the farming business, and then we won't be able to support your northern factories. So then what shall you do, Mr. Hamilton?
You are so delusional, you don't even know what you're talking about when it comes to money. Not only is raising tariffs going to help eliminate the debt that we have, but it will help us move forward without adding more debt. We are not talking North and South here. We also need a national bank. We need a bank that is going to help these companies and help our economies in both the North and South so that they can give loans to people to start their own businesses. We need to be able to coin our own money as a government. We have to move forward financially and not rely on the ways of the past.
I would like you, Mr. Hamilton, since you already informed me of Article 6 in the Constitution with combining the debt, show me in the Constitution where it says you have the power to create a bank, because you can't have me have a strict Constitution and you are loose and then play both sides. Where does it say you have the power to make that bank?
And where in the Constitution does it say we must have farming as our lifeblood? This bank needs to provide loans to average citizens wanting to start businesses so they can help boost the economy. It needs to also help pay back our debt to foreign countries, and even more importantly, the debt to our own citizens. The bank is a necessity.
There you go, big government bending the language again, taking advantage of the people.
Well, what I'd like to know, Mr. Jefferson, is how do you suppose that we manage our finances as a government if we don't have a national bank? We have to set a budget. We have to write a budget to help George Washington, who we claim we support, and yet you're saying having a national bank is a ridiculous idea. It doesn't make sense to have a budget, figure out how to spend it, and not have a bank to manage it and hold our money and make loans and issue money. We can't rely on state banks because they're fighting just as much as we are.
State banks are the answer, and first off, I do support George Washington, not supposedly support him, so I don't know where you're coming from with that. I do support the man. I have heard otherwise from you, but irregardless, let's focus on the facts of the bank, that you never answered the question. Where in the Constitution it says you have the power to create a bank? It is a convenience for you and your banker friends.
No.
It is.
It's not in the Constitution because we're still developing our government. We shouldn't have to put it in there because it's just something that has to happen.
It's something that has to happen, then write an amendment and then put it in the Constitution. The state's banks can take care of the situation. You don't want to deal with the state banks. you want to have an easier way about it. That is the only reason you want a national bank, because it'd be easier for you to do your job.
That's ridiculous. My Federalist views are going to make it possible for us to compete with other countries and be sustainable. We need to evolve, and in order to do that, we need to change. Your Democratic Republican views will only hold us back. And I just want to point out one more thing. There is a reason why I'm on the $10 bill and you're on the nickel.
And there is a reason that I will be president and you will get shot.
Show off.
Beep, 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 beep. You can't tell me that.
You're an idiot. It's a good thing we can edit that.
Now we're going to have to start all over again.
No, keep going, because I can cut that out.